quick tutorial on EtherChannel or Link Aggregation in Cisco Packet Tracer. As you can see, the orange lights here show that STP, Spanning Tree Protocol, is doing its thing, trying to prevent loops from taking down the network with a broadcast storm. That's good, but only 3 of the 4 lights on each side just turned green. Therefore, only one of the 2 wires is actually allowing us to have a connection. If we had 5 wires in our example, still only one of them wouldn't be blocked. So we group them into a channel group to aggregate the connection. These lag interfaces essentially make multiple physical connections behave like one connection. For layer 2 ether channel, we just decide which interfaces to use and apply a single command on both sides. Note, this doesn't speed up the connection, it just makes it so multiple connections don't have to share the bandwidth of one cable. So we grab an interface range and add them both to the channel group. Keep in mind these interfaces need to be the same speed on both sides. Next, a process number that's local to this switch, then mode. Last, we have 2 different protocols, LACP, which is activated by using active or passive, PAGP, which is Cisco's version and uses desirable or auto, and a non-protocol mode activated by the word on. TLDR, just use active and passive. Now we'll do the same thing on the distribution switch, quickly noting which interfaces we're going to use for the ether channel. We made the first one active, so we'll make this one passive. This will actually work if they're both active, but not if they're both passive. And that's it for layer 2, except for about a minute of the switches figuring out what's going on. Moving on to the layer 3 version of this with IP addresses involved. Let's go ahead and grab the range for those interfaces. Now make them routed ports with the no switch port command. And we didn't show it for layer 2, but for layer 3 it's important to point out that there's a new virtual interface being created by this command. And only because Packet Tracer is glitchy on this, I'm going to use on instead of active and passive. Notice I called this channel group 2, and as a result, the port channel interface is now also 2. On the distribution switch here, I couldn't have reused 1 because we already used it, but you'll see on the core switch in just a moment that the port channel will always match the channel group number. And for layer 3 ether channel, we need to add the IP address to this interface. In case you haven't enabled it yet, definitely enable IP routing in this situation. Moving on to the last step with the core switch here. Again, grab the range, no switch port, and since we're using on, we're going to use the exact same command that we used on the distribution switch. As I mentioned, the port channel is going to match the process ID we used, so let's add that second IP address. And we're done now. Let's just quickly verify some things. Also, because Packet Tracer is glitchy, we're going to go ahead and restart both of these switches. And the moment they all restarted, all 4 lights turned green to show that our ether channel is connected. It's a good idea to become familiar with these inspection commands and what everything means. But I'm just going to fast forward through mine for now. And that's ether channel.